Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you don't know who we are, we're Mum vs Daughter Duo. I'm Sue.
And I'm Mel.
So as you can see by today's title, we both, our healths have gone down very, I wouldn't say very bad, but
physical health
at
the moment, because we had been previously suffering from mental health issues. They're now beginning to get a lot better, especially now because we're now safely living in a place that we will be living permanently now for a while. So that's finally sorted, but the problem is I already had physical disabilities anyway, so mine have just increased because of the injuries I'd already succumbed. Last one was around about 2017, but whereas Susan's are now being investigated into, and I am slightly worried about her because it's not just one simple thing we thought it was.
No. So basically I had an x-ray last year around about November? Would you say November? Around about November. Or is that the MRI one?
Well, no, it goes back to quite a while back if you think about it. Just before we was here.
Yeah.
And you had everything tested out and that, but then you was put forward for an MRI.
Yeah, which obviously the MRI was actually done last year in November.
And it showed a lot more.
Yeah, because the X-ray only showed about a few conditions.
Just the pincer.
Yeah, just the pincer deformity. But the MRI picked up a lot more. Now, I'm going to put on screen right now the 3 conditions that I have, which you'll see here, with their explanations on what they are. So starting off with the first one was the acetular rectofission. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. But basically that is when your hips are actually formed. Well, basically my hips are being pushed into my back.
Basically, we can actually see it physically now, because when it started to happen to Susan, there was slight, her hips were only slightly out, whereas now you can actually see her left side has gone down completely. But also she doesn't have like the butterfly look.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the hips, and that explains why she was growing up. She kept saying to me, "Mum, I don't think my hips are right because they're not like yours."
And I used to constantly get a lot of pain every time I moved.
But now what's scary is it really does show.
Yeah, and the symptoms for it are now getting extremely more painful. But also
my bones crack because I'm older, which is expected and it's fair enough. But Susan just bent down just slightly a few days ago and it just literally crunched.
And I think also the loudness of my hip crunches so much is getting louder.
Yes.
Because you've been hearing it a lot more, and it's actually been a lot more painful.
And she locks. I sometimes have to help her up, or whatever position she's got into, because she can't move because it's basically it's trapped.
As soon as I lock, I cannot move, because if I move I will crack my hip, which will cause even more damage.
Yes. Which
so
you'll have a tear.
Exactly. Yeah, because I have a tear in my hip, which it could also be from that first condition, and the second one, pincer deformity, can actually cause the tear. But
because the first condition you was actually told you had the pincer deformity. Now we're just told that it's not a rare condition, because like Andy Murray suffered with it as well.
Yeah, and I got told Andy Murray had to have a hip replacement at the age of 30.
Even though he had the minor surgery.
He had the minor surgery like me, but he overdid it and then he ended up with a hip replacement.
Which, because he's a tennis player, you can understand.
Yeah, but these conditions I googled and it only happens in like 25% of young adults, which isn't really a high percentage when you think about it.
But you've just found out with the other, there's now 2 other things that she's got alongside with this pincer
which
deformity.
Is the tear in basically like the cartilage part of the hip, and then also the I can't even pronounce it.
Basically the hip bone is not facing front, it's more to her
my back. Yeah.
So it's not it's horrible.
Yeah,
It
so
really is.
anything can cause it. You can be born with it, or it can grow over time, which mine was obviously grown over time because it wasn't diagnosed when I was a baby.
No.
So that just proves mine grow over time. But also, if you're more like active, so I do a lot of like dance, and
You did at school.
yeah, I took performing arts, so my active side was always very active. So it could also even develop from there. It could be any injuries as well that I've had
But
that could have
also,
caused it.
it's come to light that the pincer deformity is a symptom of this hip displacement, knee acid,
It's
whatever
based
it's
to
called.
the yeah.
So basically, the main one is the one we've now found because our hips are backwards instead of forwards, which has caused the point of the bone to turn into that pincer deformity. So now she's now got 2 other conditions because of it.
Yeah.
But the worrying part of it is she's been to her local doctors and hospital. Unfortunately, they can't do the surgery
Here I would have to go to London.
She's got to go to a London hospital, unfortunately.
But the guy said to me where they're sending me is the London hospital that I'm being sent to. They are very good people, that they'll be able to correct it. But when I got my MRI results from this other guy, he did say like most of these surgeries are a little bit more straightforward, but because I've got that other condition, it's a little bit complicated now. So I got that hospital appointment in July, I think he said. Yep, in July. So I'll be able to hopefully make a little bit more of an update video when that time comes to tell you guys exactly what's going to happen. I will more than likely going in for that minor surgery operation, but we don't know if there's going to be more operation that they'll have to do. So we'll find out on that appointment, and I can update you guys again when I've had the confirmation. And
but it is worrying.
Oh, it is worrying, especially now I know like that other condition that I got, because I also googled it, and it does say it's another form of hip dysplasia. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit scared when it comes to surgery now. Because like it could work, it might not work.
No.
Whereas I thought it's gonna work. Originally, my first instinct was, yes, it's gonna work, this minor surgery. Like I'd be
no, you got the extra.
Yeah, now I've got that extra condition. It's now like it's a 50-50 chance. Will it work? Will it not work? But I'm still gonna go for it because there's a possibility it could. But also the reason why I'm going in for it as well is I could end up with a hip replacement at the age of 30 if I don't have these 2 operations now, because I've got to have it in both of my hips.
Yeah, but if it's that complicated, you could get a hip replacement anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Even at the age of 50, I could get a hip replacement.
No, before then, because basically they have given you the odds is about 50-50 whether or not the surgery will work.
Or will it?
Because of the 3 conditions.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Exactly. Well, lucky enough, the tear in my hip they can fix with stitching it back up.
They can probably deal with the spur of bone, basically. Is
the pincer, which is like a little like tip that's
But it's the reverse of the hip joint.
That's what we don't know exactly yet, but we'll soon find out once we have that hospital appointment in July. And like I said, I can always update again on YouTube about it.
But you also have it on the other side as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We just think it's just a few months damage.
Difference. There's just a slight difference. But the pains in both hips are just as bad as each other.
You seem to have gone down very quickly.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. My physical health has gone down quicker than what we assumed from when we first started to now. So within that 2 years, my health deteriorated quickly.
When they say life has its ups and downs, we've had a lot over the past since 21.
Yeah, 100%.
We've been having a lot of down. We just moved into a place we're in around about 23, we thought things were starting to get better.
And we thought we could do more and experience more in life,
Exactly.
but then of course, like, both our health conditions ended up going down.
Mm.
But we're not saying that our health conditions are more worse than anyone out there. We're not saying that. Just to mention it, there's going to be there's more people that are worse off than us.
Yeah.
But from what we've experienced,
we were just beginning to get ourselves back together from the mental health side.
And then of course our healths go down, and it just it really distorts. It really like affects you personally.
Susan, you are more upset because ever since she was a child, she's watched me go down physically because I was reasonably active.
Yeah.
But she's watched me have accidents. I fell in the middle of a road. I've actually fell on our own roads, and a driver actually got out of the car to check to see if I was okay.
Exactly.
At that point, I had dislocated my hip. Had to have physio, and then he came out with a funny thing. He said, "I've got to pull your leg," and I'm like, "Are you messing around?" And he went, No. He means I've literally got to pull your leg because it had dislocated. So if anybody's experienced dislocation, they have to pull on the limb and put it back.
Which I've heard is very, very painful.
It did hurt, but it was relieved when he put it in. And also I was able to weight bear after that because I hadn't been able to walk on that leg for a long while. But the drawback is I got to warn that it could go back, and guess what?
It did.
It went back, so I had to have it pulled again.
Yeah. But yeah, so of course my mum's had the dislocated hip. She's also broke her ankle, which she's now having problems from that now.
Yeah.
Late trauma sort of thing.
The worst one was the T12.
Yeah.
One that I had a feeling it was a bad accident, but I didn't think, because I'd had so many falls, I didn't think anything of it. But what it was, in the house we was in before, it had 3 big steps into the bathroom toilet. Now, I'd been there a while, but somehow this particular time, this was in 2017 autumn, and I was just going down steps, but somehow just did not make it, and I ended up with my back actually laying from the top 3rd step to the bottom, and the pain was horrific. And
you felt like you was going to pass out as well.
Yeah, and I said to Susan, whatever you do, you're going to have to keep me
awake
with it, because I could feel myself wanting to drift, and it was hard. Worst of it was, we didn't realise there was a neighbour next door that was emergency.
So we could have like asked him and asked for help.
So, but you ended up getting the 999 on the phone.
Exactly, and they said to me, just keep an eye on my mum. If things get worse, literally get her into hospital ASAP.
But to find out, because I wasn't getting over it, wasn't I? And
no.
This was the following year. And I said to Susan, this is still very painful.
So I said to my mum, go to hospital. She had an x-ray, and that's when she found out she actually fractured. It's basically 2 parts of her what do you call it? Like the spine?
It's in the thoracic.
Yeah, it's like
the thoracic spine.
Yeah, so basically when you see it, it's like a little bone sort of thing, and it's round. But she's actually chopped the 2 corners of it off. Yeah, she's actually chopped the 2 corners of it off. So that causes her pain now. But on to, I was saying, my mum's got carpal tunnel, which affects in both of her hands, as you can see. But also it's now started to travel.
This one.
What do you say?
It's gone up that way. It's another C1.
Yeah.
So carpal's down there, but this other one's...
It's another nerve that's in the arm.
What it is, it's being pressed to squish.
Yeah, because I think the guy said there's 3 nerves in your arm. You got one there, and you got one there, and you got one up here. So my mum's going in for a nerve test. She's got that next month, but she's
got 2 appointments in 1 week.
Yeah, she's got the MRI and the nerve test in one.
No, MRI. Which one's first?
It doesn't matter which one's first anyway, but you've
basically on a Monday might be the MRI.
Yeah.
And then the Friday one,
you got the nerve test. So she's got to have that done. But the MRI one is for her neck because the guy said it could be something in her neck that has dislodged that could also be sending the pain down to the arm.
Well, apparently what it is, I didn't realise this, but I suppose when you think of it, obviously it would be. In your spine, you have the the discs, the sponges that protect your spinal, each block bone.
Yeah.
Well, in the lumbar region, which is the normal place where a lot of people do a lot of damage, I've actually got 4 out of 5 are all prolapsed. The only one that isn't is the third one. So 1, 2, 4 and 5 are constantly prolapsed. So I'm constantly in pain because they pinch the nerves. And the worst one that is bad is the sciatic one.
Yeah.
Because
So
that stops me from walking and everything. The reason why I've got to have this nerve test as well is because they want to find out 2 reasons, and the MRI, to find out if in my T-zone area where the thoracic bone is, apparently there are some discs there as well. So there might be another slipped one in that area, which is causing a lot of problem, because the pain I was experiencing was going, basically it was in my wrists anyway and my hands, but also because it only used to be one part of my hand that would go numb. Now it's the whole hand. So what he wants me to do is have all these nerve checks and another MRI. It's because he wants to see if that top one up there, the one that I fractured, is causing a problem, because it might be a disc. Because the pain wasn't just going to the elbow, because it did start off, it was only going to the elbow, but then it started going up the shoulder and under my shoulder blade, and it was that painful. It used to reduce my tears. You used to say, Mum, are you okay?
Yeah, and also like it reduced her arm length, so she couldn't actually bring this arm all the way back compared to her left. So that's when you saw the difference as well, and that's why we ended up getting my mum to hospital. But also she's now got another condition in her kneecap. She's got a bone that's now prominent, which now needs to be looked at by a GP.
But apparently it's if you suffer with osteoarthritis.
Yeah, if you suffer with osteoarthritis, you'll more than likely have like deformities end up growing, so you could end up having bones that move and stick out.
So basically on my kneecap I've got another spur bone that's coming out,
and you can see it
when it's
we're not going to show it, but you can see it.
But I'm now beginning to feel it, because if I've got my knee bent too long,
it hurts.
It gets very painful.
Yeah, and you said you've knelt on it once and you felt it moved.
Yeah, I couldn't get up.
But you said you felt it move
and I felt
as
it
well.
Move, yeah, and it locked.
Yeah. So she's got to get that sorted, and
See, I'm definitely going to be looking at probably at 2 surgeries, because one will be for the carpal.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's definitely going to have to be operated.
Well, we don't know if you can yet. We'll soon find out.
Well, you said it possibly will be.
Yeah.
Because if they've got a...
But they might not be able to touch you if you've got other conditions, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but they can't let the bone carry on.
No.
Penetrating. Because if it comes right up to the skin, I don't know.
We don't know.
To tell. But it could be. But of course, with Susan's, hers is more important at the moment. I know it's going to be pain because of my hands, because I do drop things. But at the end of the day, if Susan doesn't get hers done first,
I might not ever be able to walk, or even end up with worse surgery like hip replacement at the age of like 26, 27.
Because you've got to think of wear and tear.
Yeah, which is way too young to have a hip replacement.
Yes.
I say the earliest is 50. Usually is the right time, I would say, but not younger than 50.
No, that's right. And it's the pain and agony when she's in it, when she's at her worst point. It's awful.
It is, because like it's made my mum cry so many times, and this is the thing is, like, we don't want to make this YouTube video sad and
No.
or anything like emotional, because we want to keep our channel like positive, happy, but we needed to come forward about this because like the future videos you might see, we can't always be happy.
Because when you're in a lot of pain.
Yeah, because if I'm going in for surgery in a few months' time, you'll see sometimes I might be in pain during the video, but I'll try my best not to show it. But we thought it'd be good to give you guys a bit of a health updates, and then like if one of us are in hospital and we don't upload on a Sunday, that will be the reason why.
Yeah.
It's because we've got health problems.
Yeah.
So if we miss any Sunday, we will try and get an upload at least in that week if we miss that Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay? But we'll try our best.
But we will keep you updated as much as possible.
Exactly.
With this. But I mean, the main thing is once the surgery's done, hopefully
everything should go back to, I wouldn't say completely go back to normal.
It's never going to be from like day one.
No, but me and you will be able to do things a little bit more better without being in too much pain. And
yeah, because that's the reason why I'm having this nerve test, because what they're doing is I'm on very strong painkillers now, and pain is now going further outside of the painkillers I'm on.
Exactly.
And there is no other painkiller that I could be given. Apparently my painkiller is actually one that they would give you if you suffer with cancer.
Exactly.
So I am at the
strongest medication going, which
so there's nothing else they can give me. So he's hoping that if it is nerves that are being triggered, something about they can cut
and sort out and all of that.
Yeah.
But we will, when we have these appointments, we will try and film as much as we can, but we don't want to film too much because at the end of the day it's still personal, and we do want to keep it off YouTube.
Yes.
Because we don't want to make our channel like unhappy. You know, we don't want to put a lot of like sad, depression things on our channel because we just don't want to do that. We want to make it more happier now. But yeah, like I said, we'll try and film as much as we can, and we'll maybe give you an update in maybe 3-4 months time. Maybe.
Yeah, because
hopefully.
in April I've got my 2 appointments.
Yeah, mine's in July.
A couple of months after that when I get the other appointment for the orthopaedics again.
Exactly.
About to tell me what the conclusion is and the results.
Yeah.
And then yours, if you're being seen on the 3rd of July, I'm thinking you could be called in at any time after that.
Exactly. So we might be able to give you an update in like 3-4 months time about our health conditions.
You could see yourself being in crutches in the next few months.
Yep. That's going to be an exciting one.
Why not?
But we're all fun and happiness on this channel at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't know how to actually end this because like it's kind of like sad. I don't want to like end it off like, oh yeah, try to be happy, because like,
well, we don't know, because the thing is we've been in the worst position ever about 3 years ago.
Exactly.
So basically we're happy. I mean, we're definitely happier than what we were back then.
Oh, definitely.
And things are getting better, apart from the physical things.
Exactly.
But I'm used to it because I've been like this since the age of
16.
39. Well, yeah, 16. See, I had deformities then.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing. I think that's why you're suffering.
Yeah.
Because it's in our DNA makeup.
It's in both of my parents' DNA, you know, like,
so,
it doesn't really...
No. But the thing is, my first surgeries weren't until I was 15, 1 year, and then 16. Yeah, this is nothing. She's got the same problem I had when I had the surgeries to my feet. They can't do the two together.
No, they have to do one or the other.
Yeah, so for 2 years, I was off my feet.
Yeah, so 2 years I'm going to be technically off my feet and off my hips, literally, completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to go in for the surgery either way. And yeah, let's just see what the outcome is in the future.
Yeah, but we will keep you informed.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated.
And we'll still try and get the videos out as many as possible as we can.
Yeah, our upload is Sundays. So we will definitely, at the moment, the schedule's still going to be on the spot. But as soon as like surgery comes, that's when it could change a little, but
Yeah.
we'll soon see. You know, we never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're gonna love you.
Leave you.
Yeah. But make sure you stay tuned for next Sunday's video, because we are uploading a concert. I'm not going to say who. You'll have to wait for that. We're going to upload the concert, and plus we're also going to upload Mother's Day, as Mother's Day is this Sunday.
Yes.
But other than that, we're going to love you and leave you.
Yeah.
And
to everybody who's watching out there, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
Please.
We're getting the views, which is brilliant.
Yeah, we
need the subscribers.
Yeah, we've seen so many of you watch our videos, but you're not subscribed. So it would be our pleasure, and we'd appreciate you along on our journey with us to come and join us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and other than that, we will see you next Sunday.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.